Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great morning on this beautiful day. And forgive me if I may be harping a little bit, but over the past few days with all that's going on and the new age of social media, I've been getting a lot of messages and calls from friends. What should I do? My kids, college friends are bashing Israel and they're Jewish. And, what should my kid respond? Should he engage with them? Or people are telling me, listen, Rabbi, my kids, they went to Jewish high school and all their friends are bashing Israel. And how could it be? And how do we win that argument? And how do we inspire our kids to understand the beauty, the value, and the need for the Holy Land of Israel? It's not easy. But Shavuot is coming, and Shavuot is going to be on Monday, when God gave us the greatest gift ever given to mankind. He gave us the Torah. And I want to harp on the first Rashi, the first verse in the Torah. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And I want to tell you what Rashi, the greatest commentary, says right there. Rashi quotes the Midrash, and he says, Rabbi Yitzchak said, why does God start the Torah, the whole book of Genesis, with telling us the story of Adam, of Eve, of Noah, of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah? Why doesn't he start right when he gives the Jews the first mitzvah? This month, when they leave Egypt, right when they're leaving, and God tells them about counting the months. Why does God begin with all this history? And Rabbi Yitzchak says something amazing. And Rashi quotes it. And this is something that the Lubavitcher Rebbe, blessed memory, mentioned time and time again. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, he says, why God told us the whole story about creation and about Adam and Eve and about the patriarchs and the matriarchs? Because he says one day the world might come. The nations of the world will come and they'll look at the Jews and they'll say, Listim atem, you are thieves. You stole the land of others. You took the land of the Canaanites, of the Hittites. You took the land of the Palestinians. Says Rashi in the name of Rabbi Yitzchak. Therefore, God gives us the whole history of what happened, of how creation happened. That God says, I created the world. And I chose to give it who I wanted to. And then I chose to give it to the Jewish people. And what the Rebbe always spoke, so Rashi says that the Torah begins with the whole story of Genesis. Just that the Jews should have the confidence. And when the nations of the world come to them and say, you are thieves, we should be able to have what to answer them. And I remember for years that Rebbe would cry that when the UN, these nations would come and say, oh, you took the land of the Palestinians. And the Jews would say, oh no, there was UN partition, etc. The Rebbe would say they're forgetting the most basic reasoning. This is the land that we've been given thousands of years ago. God gave it us as a gift. The whole world believes in the Torah. The Torah is the most sold book. 1 billion Christians, even the Muslims, believe in the Torah. The Torah says clearly this is the land that God gave to the Jewish people. So when you come and you give an argument, oh well, there was a partition and we tried. But when you have the strength and the conviction to say, this is ours, God gave it to us. It's the land that the Jewish people has always been. 600 plus times Jerusalem is mentioned in the Torah. Not once in the Quran. When we have the courage to know the facts, to study them. I mean, these teenagers, these young adults with their writing things without facts. Who was the one that opposed the partition? Who was the one that opposed the partition of Palestine? It wasn't us. Who started the war? Who was, before 1967, stood up and said we're going to annihilate Israel, had marches with millions of soldiers? People forget. It's only 75 years from the Holocaust. One of the arguments they used, he said, oh, Israel is such a strong military and the Palestinians are so meek. Guess what? Those days of the Jews not being strong, those days of the Jews not having a military to protect themselves, the days of the Jews going to the gas chambers on cattle without one nation standing up to protect them, those days are gone. Yes, we are strong. And yes, we're going to stay strong. And yes, we're going to have the best military we could. And yes, we're going to take proactive action against those who hate us. And then you talk about the homes in Shara over there that they're all complaining about. They've been living there. No one evicted them. They weren't paying rent. This is a court issue. We're a democratic country, and in democratic countries, things go to courts that rule upon them. We have ethnic cleansing? How many Israeli Arabs are there that live and get benefits and live a free life? And then think about the Palestinian territory. How many Jews live in Gaza? How many Jews live in the West Bank? Are you kidding me? How many times have we stretched out our hand in peace once after the other? But I think that in order to be able to say and have the right argument, we have to hearken back to our Torah. It's 3,333 years since God gave us the greatest gift. If our kids see that we're proud of it, that we're connected to it, if they hear this ringing Rashi from us, this is the land God gave us, if they know that we have real conviction, that we're not meek, that we're not wavering about it, then they'll be instilled with it. And that's what we have to demand from our Jewish schools. They shouldn't be iffy, wishy-washy. If it's Gan Academy, if it's Rashi, if it's Schechter, if it's Maimon, they have to tell the kids the truth. And they have to be proud of him. So, I only mention this because we're getting the Torah again. We're living in the midst of the hardest time. I know all these kids are on Instagram and social media, and they're seeing all the vile hate, all those calling that Hitler should have finished his job. Who would have thought in 2021? Twitter banned Donald Trump, but there are people literally calling, the head of Hamas, and the head of Iran calling for the annihilation of the Jews on Twitter, and no one says a word. Kids are worried, but they want to see conviction and strength from us, and we need to feed them the right things and help them articulate the truth. And I'm always available. If you want me to speak to your teen or to your young adult, I'm happy to explain them the issues and the facts the way they are, not the way they're portrayed by a media that's constantly and always been against Israel. Let's not forget. Do you remember where the New York Times was during World War II? Were they protecting the Jews? Were they protecting them against the Holocaust? I think you might go check that up because they weren't. So let's keep perspective. Let's be proud. Let's embrace the Torah. Let's know that this is the gift that God gave us and we will never, ever, ever leave it. Let's live in a way that our kids know our convictions, and let's inspire them to the same. Let's bring to them that love and let them see who we really are and what we really represent. God bless you. Have a good day.